everyone, welcome to my review of episode 906 of One Piece, and literally looking forward to see how they will portray this particular episode with Law versus Hawkins being the title of this episode. Although the first portion was dedicated to Luffy catching up with Zoro and Okiku, but be that as it may, it was still a good episode for the most part, enjoyable. And obviously next week we got the Romance Door special, the 20th anniversary episode. Content that never aired from Oda will be for the first time aired. So obviously Wano's taking on at least 1 week break, but it's probably a good place to leave off if you are going to have a break within Wano. We start off with Luffy obviously decimating Holden, not a surprise. Took one shot with Red Hawk. Tama thinking about Ace through Luffy. You even see a shot of a flashback when Ace is gearing up Fire Fist, and that's pretty cool. I don't think we saw that in the flashback initially when we saw Ace and Otama, and Holden's been taken care of. So Luffy and Otama jet. By the way, I love how before he delivered Red Hawk, he just literally let go of Otama and then caught him with his arm by stretching it. But typical Luffy. And then Zoro is I find this hilarious because Zoro's the one. Oh, he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have attacked him like that. Like, yeah, no kidding. And especially with Law's reaction by the end of the episode, yeah, massive amount of problems coming your way. So, and none of them could have been avoided, I guess, when you involve the Straw Hats. But Luffy and Otama are pretty much surrounded by the subordinates. So, Holden, obviously garbage to Luffy. I thought he could have used Conqueror's Haki, but instead he used target practice with its combat abilities. What's really important though is to note that even with Otama on his back, she avoided any initial damage or harm, so no problem. And that's been the problem with like Kaido's boys in comparison to, like, if you compare them to like the Big Mom pirates. Look at the threat that Luffy had to face very early on in the arc. Obviously he felt faced with Cracker, that was a struggle, but after that he's in ragged out shape. So is that a testament to how strong Luffy's gotten, or is it just the way that Oda presented the Big Mom Pirates over, at least for now, the Beast Pirates? Because with the exception of Hawkins, they've been pretty much garbage at this point. We see Speed, right, the other headliner, and she's like, hold up, you're a headliner, how could you get taken out like that? And it begins a vicious string of cycles when it comes to like the treatment of the headliners. Completely one-shotted. A Speed got done dirty in this episode. I mean, it's obviously happened in the manga, but again, it's like just a bad portrayal of the Beast Pirates, especially when you consider obviously these subordinates got dealt with by Luffy very quickly. It's really funny because they hop aboard Speed because they think she's being a horse, but they realize she's also a human. And I like the expression of both Luffy and Otama when they realized that Speed was actually a human combined with a horse. That's funny. And what is it with Luffy grabbing a hold of these women? Back in whole Kate Island, it was Luffy on top of Brule. Could have been a better female, I will admit, but it's like what is going on? Like, especially with Reiju, although that was completely not intentional by Luffy. That was Reiju to save Luffy's life, but you get what I'm saying. And now the way that Speed was reacting to Luffy grabbing hold of her is very sexual. I don't know what was going on with that. I don't remember that in the manga. If it did, then wow, what's Oda thinking? But it's like, no. Speed was already weird to begin with, that designed as a horse, but now you add this on top. No, they give her a name, I guess, Horsalina. So she quickly becomes agitated. She tries to knock them off. And then she gets fed the Kibidango from Otama, and incredibly goofy as it was, it's kind of a big moment because it's kind of a broken ass ability from Otama. She gives the Kibidango to Speed. She's reluctant to eat it, but because she's a horse, she has no alternative but to. And she gains control over Speed, a headliner who is under the direction of Jack, one of the Calamities. So put that into perspective, okay? So even though she's a headliner, that she was not immune to being controlled by a kid who has a broken devil fruit. So that could become very, very useful to the Straw Hat Alliance down the road. I'm pretty sure, because it works on Zoan type devil fruit uses. And Luffy pretty much put it out. Oh, it worked, probably because she's half horse. Yeah, so who else could she tame with that power? Otama's like, her initial response is kind of cute and touching with the way she's holding on to Luffy, thinking about Ace through Luffy. It is kind of like disturbing because she is only a child, and Luffy's 19. But it's affection, so very touching moment. She's reminded of Ace what's gonna happen if she ever bumps into Sabo, because he also has the Mera no Mi. So, and he's the only brother that Otama hasn't met. She's met Ace, she's met Luffy, so the only one left will be Sabo. So I bet you should be jumping over joy if she met Sabo. So just saying that. So they catch up with Zoro. So meanwhile, we go. Speaking of headlines, we go to the main event, which is Hawkins versus Law. And what's really cool about this fight is because, unlike with a battle of the worst generation, obviously with Luffy versus Hawkins, that was a much different fight. Here we got two strategic members of the worst generation, Law and Hawkins. We knew this was going to be a pretty decent animation. I think it did pretty well, as short-lived as it was. So starts off Law obviously trying to keep his identity a secret. It comes to stalemate. I love the attention to detail with the glares of Hawkins and Law. Hawkins is kind of confused. Why is he here? Who is he? And then he doesn't really notice until the fight starts, which is kind of like, not to mention his Jolly Roger's pretty much on the kimono of Law, a big deck giveaway. But obviously Law begins the combat where he grabs a hold of a rock and he throws it. But Law's like thinking internally, like they won't screw up the plan, because even though Zoro is a hothead, they know the plan. They can't get into trouble because it brings a lot of problems. And there's more explanation as to why that is. Because if they take out Holden, which they did, that brings in Jack, because they get word, and obviously gets word to Kaido, so it becomes problematic. So that's why Law's frantic about trying to deal with Hawkins, because so Law grabs a hold of a rock and he uses that throw to trade places with one of his subordinates so he can get into striking distance with Hawkins, which again, strategic move. He cut through Hawkins, but because of Hawkins' devil fruit ability, one of his subordinates takes the damage, so we know that ability by now. And when he uses Room and he uses Shambles to switch places with the rock, that's when Hawkins realizes, oh, now I know who you are. So it's like, really? That tipped you off? But Law puts in the work, and what's really cool about this is like, this is the first time we've seen Law in action in a while. I don't think Law did very whole much in Zoe. He did a whole lot more in Dressrosa and helping out with Zunisha. I don't think Law did a whole much. Oh, it's good to see Law in action here on Wano, especially against somebody the likes of Hawkins, where you know people are going to be power scaling like crazy when it comes to the worst generation. Oh, there's no way Law is going to lose to someone like Hawkins. But again, you have to remember this is a strategic battle, and he's saying, oh, I'm here to kill you, to eliminate you. And that's what his subordinates trying to surround him. He tries to attack again with injection, but this is where Hawkins actually avoids it and actually uses the straw sword to like knock off the bucket of, I guess, the straw hat or the straw bucket off his head. So now his appearance is revealed, and this is where Law goes into badass mode, because his subordinates, they got cut into ribbons. But I love how Law uses one of his subordinates to actually get into the place, so he can shoot right in front of Hawkins. But credit to Hawkins, he actually blocked it. We get a cool little clash, which sends his subordinates flying, by the way. And that's pretty much the end of it. But I did like that clash. Law's reaction to like the food cart and Roronoya, you're here. And then he's just like dumbfounded. It's like he's already absorbed into the culture of the Straw Hat, so he's not so like he shouldn't be surprised by any of this. And then he hops on board. Hawkins dashes out the way, and the plans already immediately fell through, because we get the Dendamushi call to Hawkins, and they get word that Holden's been taken out, and it's been received back to Lord. It's been received back to Jack, so Law's pissed about that, because now he's going to get word to Kaido, and that's going to bring a whole lot of problems pretty soon. And I was like, oh, those damn idiots. If the plan's gone to hell now, that's when Law hops aboard. Hawkins dashes out the way, but for whatever reason, he doesn't go after them. He's like dumbfounded. The subordinate's like, yeah, we need to go after them, because the food, they're going to be stolen. So, and that's, I love the interaction, the reunion of Zoro and Law just pissed. It was like, yo, Zoro, what the hell? And Zoro's like, what's this about? So that's how the episode ends. It's probably the best way to end it, with that a major cliffhanger coming up soon. Obviously, next week we'll have the Romance Dawn episode for the 20th anniversary with Luffy, and I believe it's Anne with blue hair, the Nami with blue hair, pretty much. So that's going to be cool to see. I don't know if I'm going to review it. It technically is canon. It's just never aired, so it's going to be weird. But it's going to be a big week, conclusion to the end of the month, with obviously not only Romance Dawn episode, but days after that we got the premiere of Film Stampede in North America, in the dub, more importantly. So that's going to be pretty cool. Obviously, you got back on track with the One Piece chapter next week, so it's going to be big. I'm curious about next week's episode, but let me know what you guys think down below. That's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like this review if you did. Subscribe channel for One Piece. Catch you guys later. Thanks, guys. Bye.